Thank you for joining us. This is the People's Perspective, and I'm Senator Gill. We know that many forms of artistic expression are central to the vitality of our communities. Art enhances our daily lives. Einstein said he experienced the greatest degree of pleasure in having contact with works of art. They gave him, he said, a happy feeling of intensity he could not derive from any other source. New Jersey is committed to supporting the arts, and central to that support is the New Jersey State Council on the Arts. This legislature created the council in 1966, and since then, the council has earned national recognition for its innovative program in our diverse New Jersey artistic community. In full disclosure, before I ever became a politician, I was a member of the New Jersey State Council on the Arts. And so personally, I know they do a wonderful job. And today, uh, I'm joined by the Executive Director of the Arts Council, Allison Tratner, and of course, the long-standing Arts Council member, Sharon Burton-Turner. Sharon has been a long-standing member of the council, involved in a great deal of these innovative programs, and also has previously served as chair. So thank you for joining us. This is really great. And people like to know what is can you explain what the Arts Council is and what kind of work the council does to engage the community and foster public interest in art? Allison, can you take that
Sure,
right
I'm
now?
I'm happy to. First, I just want to say thank you for having us, and also thank you so much for your service, both on the Arts Council and just as a leader in New Jersey for all of these years. Thank you. And it does mean a great deal to have the attention of someone like you on the arts and on the Arts Council. As you noted, the agency was formed as a body of state government in the 60s. There is a state agency devoted to the arts in every state and territory across the country. And here in New Jersey, as you noted, we are regarded as a model agency for public service and investment, strategic investment in the arts. So who we are is we are governed by a body of 17 governor appointed board members, Sharon being one of them. We have 3 ex officio members on our board, a representative from the Senate, the Assembly, and the Secretary of State. And we have a professional staff based in our state's capital in Trenton. And we are primarily a grant giving agency. We focus on supporting nonprofit arts organizations and artists in every county across the state. And we also provide services, professional development, technical assistance, services to help strengthen the industry so that it can really contribute to New Jersey life in all the ways we know it can.
Well, Sharon, can you tell us what kind of support does the council provide specifically for the New Jersey arts community? What kind of programs or grants, and how they are innovative, that to include more people and more expressions?
Sure, but before I do that, as Allison, I have to thank you on behalf
Oh,
of our
well,
council chair, Liz Matson, and of course my colleagues on the council for your unbelievable support and your continued support of the arts. I am also extremely grateful to have an opportunity to have a platform in which we can talk about the arts and what we do. So, to your question, we continue to navigate throughout this unpredictable financial circumstances that we find ourselves in. But we've had to become nimble, innovative, recognize that there's much that needs to be done, reprioritize, and learn a lot. And thankfully, this year, like last year, we have the budget that allows us to do that. And so, as a result of that, of course, we've focused on, as Allison said, grants that go around general operating support. But it also has allowed us to customize certain programs that will fill a need that's so badly needed. And I'd like to, for example, just talk about one of those programs. And Allison, you feel free to jump in because I will be able to give just a relatively understanding of it. But one of the things we're really proud about is that we have a new program called Creative Aging Initiative. And this program is based on research. You know, research tells us that there's an important connection between the arts and seniors. And it's not just about being active and having fun, having a good time dancing and painting and singing. All of that, of course, is very important. But there's a real science that tells us engaging in creative activities can help improve an actual health condition. So we have provided $10,000 to cover the cost of 2 8-day residencies for New Jersey seniors, and that's adults. I don't know if they would consider themselves seniors, but 55 and older. Um, and this grant is not only open up to arts organizations, but it's opened up to libraries, veterans groups, senior citizen organizations. So we're excited about it. And we hope that we're going to get a lot of traction with this program. Allison, anything else you'd like to add before I go on?
Well, I mean, I think you described it really well. And I think it is a really good example of how the council, as you noted, Sharon, we primarily focus on providing operating support for nonprofits throughout the state, which is really the sort of the not shiny fun stuff, right? The paying their bills, keeping the lights on, you know, but the important stuff, paying their staff, being able to have a safe and sound structure, especially now with the different health demands and requirements and protocols. But throughout the last few years, while we were trying to maintain a commitment to help these organizations pay their bills, we were also continuing to learn about the needs in the field. Who are we not reaching? Who's not getting the benefit of the arts, especially now through crisis? And one of the things we learned was that the older populations in New Jersey want this kind of engagement, need this kind of engagement. And the Creative Aging Program grew out of all we learned. And this is the first time we've done it. So we're going to learn a great deal. Applications just closed. They just closed last week. We got more applications than we can fund. We got more applications than we anticipated, but that's a good thing because it shows us that we are on the mark. And as we roll out this pilot program, you know, next year, if we can get a chance to talk to you, we'll tell you how it went and what we're going to do next.
Well, I know, so you have it for all the seniors, and you also service young children, communities. Could you talk about the children and family issues that you have in terms of grants and support?
Sure. So about 75% of our grants go to, grant funds go to the general operating support that I mentioned, and about 25% go towards programs and services targeted to the, you know, customized and targeted to the needs we hear in the field. So the Creative Aging Program that we mentioned, and there's a handful of other specialized services that reach youth and people of all ages. But within the general operating support program, what maybe is less obvious is that these arts organizations, these nonprofits, from the smallest to the biggest, are serving families and communities right in their backyards. And this is arts education programming, family programming. We're talking before school, after school, in school, right? So there's really no element of community life that an arts organization in your community, that an anchor arts organization isn't touching. And so while we really do provide the customized services, our goal is also to help these organizations do what they know their communities need. They know better than we do.
And to that point, as Allison said, one of the great things about being on the council, coming from my perspective, is that you get to see how all of these grants are affecting the community. And I happen to be fortunate to be in a town where we have what I consider to be anchor organizations. The Montclair Art Museum has done a lot of initiatives that have involved the community. One, in fact, is our little neighborhood child care development center. It's wonderful to see these young kids come to the museum for the first time, and not only come to the museum, but to see paint portraits on the wall, and then actually have an activity that allows them to do the same kind of thing. So they do their portraits. The same thing with seniors who are experiencing health issues, to have a special day for them where they come and can enjoy the arts without feeling any kind of threat. Let's talk about Jazz House Kids. I mean, who would have ever thought that Montclair would have a Jazz House kids that would be led by such phenomenal leaders and talents as Christian McBride, and on and on and on. We have seen how through partnerships, and that's really what this is all about. Through partnerships, we have been able to advance the arts throughout all of the communities, all of the organizations throughout the town, and quite frankly, within the Essex County region and throughout the state. So there are lots of good things that are happening.
And I remember there was one thing on the Arts Council when I was there many years ago, that we wanted to make sure that we continue to support individual artistic fellowship awards, because my position then is like now, before it became a standard, it was a struggling artist that needed to have support for the creative energy to be able to produce what later is magnificent, though that we never lost sight of supporting the individual artists with fellowships. And I see that is still continuing.
Absolutely. In fact, Senator Gill, that is one of my most favorite programs and one of my most favorite grants, the individual artist fellowship program. Um, Not to mention, and you're absolutely right, we've had it for over 50 years. So, of course, we continue to support that as much as we can. Who was affected the most by the pandemic but our artists? And we were so grateful to have funding that would allow us to increase financial support to them so they can do what they do: make art, create art, make us all feel better. Um, we are embarking upon our annual application process. It closed. We got more money, thank heaven, from our appropriations that allowed us to increase the funding even more. So we've expanded the field of disciplines of the artists who will get the opportunity to apply. Um, One thing that needs to be noted, that this fellowship, the awarding of it is based solely on what we call excellence. It has nothing to do with who you are, nothing to do what your history says, your education, your training, none of that at all. It's based solely from a peer panel selection of artists who show what wonderful work they do. I'm proud to say that we had 600 applications, unbelievable, 600. And in the next few months, we're going to announce who they are. So stand by and we'll tell you who they are. But they are phenomenal. We also give them an opportunity to have fellowship showcases. We partner with our other organizations throughout the state. So a museum may have some kind of presentation of art by one of our fellowship artists. A choreography could be at SOPAC. We try to do as much as we can to give them the exposure, and especially those who are viewed as underserved, and really do have an opportunity to display the work that they do. So we are excited about this program. As I said, it's one of my favorites. And in February, I will be announcing who they are this year.
Oh, that's absolutely great. Can you talk to me about the Cultural Access Network, and how that works and what it is? Allison, can you kind of fill us in on that?
Sure, I'm happy to. So, the Cultural Access Network is an example of what we call a co-sponsored project. It's a partnership between the council. It's a public-private partnership. It's when the council identifies a need in the field and identifies the partner uniquely positioned to help really get the work done with the expertise, the capacity, and the partnerships. In 1992, the Cultural Access Network was established. It was established by the council leadership then, and it has been embraced by the council leadership all these years in partnership with the New Jersey Theater Alliance. The Theater Alliance is a service organization dedicated to the theater community statewide, but they are the partner and the real visionary behind the Cultural Access Network for all artistic disciplines. And at the core of what the Cultural Access Network does is education, training, information, and promotion of the importance of increasing access to artistic, cultural, creative opportunities for people with disabilities. Whether that means they they can feel welcome to attend an event, to participate in an event, to work in an organization, to be an artist themselves. The idea is to remove barriers so that there is increased access, but not just access, real, true, authentic engagement for people of all abilities.
That is wonderful. Actually, I was talking to someone this weekend who is a, artist in that program at the Montclair Art Museum, and it was just so gratifying, to hear her talk about the work and how it affected her in her growth as a person and as an artist. And so I know that that is a program that is very, very successful. And we're such a diverse state. So can you give us a little background with respect to the diversity in arts leadership program? Whoever would like to take that question.
The council has many initiatives focused on what you said, diversity in arts leadership, but really diversity, equity, access, and inclusion in the arts field. This is something that, if you're in really almost any industry today, you'll see that those who are really paying attention and want to remain relevant and responsive to community needs, they're paying attention to these kinds of ideas and issues. And here at the agency, it's no different for us. We've been applying the values of diversity, equity, access, and inclusion to everything we do, from our internal culture to our public programs. And as a result, there are some really great initiatives that have taken flight over the last couple of years. And one of them is called the Diversity in Arts Leadership. And so the Diversity in Arts Leadership is a national program launched by Americans for the Arts. And the main focus is to provide opportunities for emerging leaders, young people who want to work in the arts, who are committed to arts administration from backgrounds traditionally underrepresented in the arts field. So it's sort of a pipeline of sorts for people to create and have opportunities to learn and to grow professionally. And so what that means practically is here in New Jersey, every year for this will be the fourth year, there's a national application process. Individuals, young, emerging professionals apply from all over the country to be paired with host organizations here in New Jersey, nonprofit organizations who also have to apply to be part of the program. And we pair them together for a 10-week paid internship program for these young people committed to arts administration, where there's learning in both directions. And part of this program that's also really valuable is that these young people get paired with business mentors also from backgrounds underrepresented in the arts, and they learn practical, real world professional experience, and truly the learning does go both ways.
With respect to, and Sharon, with respect to, you said pairing with business people. And one of the narratives we had to advance is that the arts was not simply for dilettantes, that art was commerce to the state. And so engaging in for the state to invest in art, you are also investing in the commercial and financial success of the state. So people want to come, and then they want to eat, and then they want to engage. And Sharon, can you tell us a bit more about that and how it has been successful?
Absolutely. And I'll start with a little anecdote I had from someone some time ago when they learned that I was on the Arts Council. And so he said to me, "Oh, so are you with a group of women who just lunch?" And and I was quite offended, and I said, quite the contrary. You clearly don't know about the arts. But to your point, the arts are an essential part of industry in this state. We employ thousands of people. We bring in hundreds of millions of dollars every year. that help our state economy. We bring millions of tourists every year. You can feel, Senator Gill, I know you can feel that buzz on Church Street in Montclair. It is buzzing all the time, every, every single weekend. It just demonstrates that it is indeed an economic engine, and it's needed for the thriving of a community, of a people. So, absolutely, we are not just ladies who lunch. We generate money, and we do a whole lot.
And we lunch.
Yeah, I mean, lunching is fun, and I'm sure, we do have lunch, right? And on the board, they do have a good time because they are a group of people, not just women, but they are a group of people really committed to this industry and to the people who benefit from it. And I'll say, just to add on to the point you both made about the fact that the industry is part of New Jersey's economic engine. The past few years we've come through this economic crisis, and we're moving through to past recovery and into real renewal and thriving. And the arts industry is key to that. The legislature sees that and has shown us in our budget. The governor sees that and has shown us in our budget. And I think what's also true about this industry is that while it is alive, it is also still struggling. We know that artists, individuals are still struggling to make ends meet. And these organizations, they're businesses, just like the restaurants, just like the movie theaters, the commercial and the nonprofit. They're struggling because the last few years really hit them hard. And so we are grateful to be a reliable source of funding and income for them. But audiences are still unpredictable, right? Because the public health situation is what it is. Thankfully, we're in a much better place. But these businesses, these arts businesses, they are not fully recovered yet. But you might not be able to tell from the outside because they don't quit. But they still really do need financial support to be able to, stick around. And so we're grateful to be able to do it, but we certainly don't do it alone. New Jersey has a lot of very committed leaders. Yeah.
That's really important. I did have a, a pin. I couldn't find it, but it says art saves lives because art saves lives. And with the pandemic, and especially our young people, not uh, the art has been able to help our young uh, students regain a sense of, if you will, footing and become more stable in approaching all of these ever changing situations that they're in. So
So
the
true.
commercial aspect. No, go ahead,
I was
Sharon.
gonna I was gonna add to that. You're absolutely right. The arts are really healing, especially given what we've all been through these last few years. It's caused us to um, look within ourselves and understand the importance of just how it is to know your fellow person, how you can build bridges, how you can expand your learning. So the arts have been just transformative, is what I always say. They're transformative and they're all inclusive. And we're so fortunate to be in a community where or in a state, I should say, in a state where this is paramount, and it's definitely necessary, and it's showing. It's showing in so many ways.
Well, are there any projects or initiatives or events from the council that you want the community to be aware of, other than those that we've already discussed?
Well, I'll talk about. Excuse, Allison. I must get this in, and then you can have the floor. But I must talk about Senator Gill, one of my most favorite programs, Poetry Out Loud. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yes, I
Oh,
am.
it is my favorite. It's a recitation program. It's a national competition that's sponsored by the NEA, and it's for high school children, or listen to me, high school youngsters. And what they do is they explore and they learn and they find favorite poems, and they perform in recitations. The winners from each state will go to Washington and they will compete for monetary recognition. And it's a wonderful way to see students bloom. Um, it is phenomenal in such a way that I tell people you must see it. It's amazing to see that person who was afraid to say, "Hello, my name is Sharon," standing on that stage and performing with such confidence. Um, it's an amazing transformation, and it's a program. If you can see it, it's worth your while. It's worth your time. It is amazing, and it's by far, as you can tell, my most favorite program that we have at the council.
Is there a website that we
Sure. Yeah. And actually, it's not too late for community centers or schools that want to sign up to participate this year. So it runs every year. I think this is year 15 or 16. It's national. It's happening in every state and territory across the country. This is big competition.
Right.
New Jersey always does
Yes.
well. And so, yeah, so you can find the information on the council's website, artscouncil.nj.gov. And you can also, there's a poetryoutloud.org, which is the national website. And Sharon, that is actually the one
You're going to talk.
what I was
I
going
know
to bring
it's
up.
everyone's favorite. It's everyone's favorite.
It's a really magical program. It's we have heard over the last decade plus from the students and the educators that participate that it's transformational. It really is. And this past year's state champion, her name is Italy Jareli, and she herself has spoken really eloquently about how the program, through the crisis of the pandemic and what she was going through and her own struggles, that writing poetry, which this program opened the door for her to do for the first time, helped her cope, helped her heal, helped her move forward. And she's now being published as a poet. And now that's all her. She took that and ran, but it was this program that sparked it for her. And that's really important.
in the program, so I'm clear, is not initially to write poetry, but to find a poem that you like and then learn how to recite it
Right.
and present it.
Right.
And
that's right. It's a recitation
people
competition.
You don't have to write the poetry,
Right.
but
No.
This will teach you presence and as my father would say, repetition is good for the soul. So you you can create other kinds of strengths that you didn't know you had because of this program.
Yes.
Yes. And so
no, go ahead.
Just one last piece about Poetry Out Loud, or another piece about Poetry Out Loud for clarification, is that it's a multi-level competition program. It starts in classrooms and in community centers. And it's those community centers and schools that need to be the ones who sign up. And you can find that information on our website. And then it's the educators that bring the students together to coordinate with free materials that come from us and the National Endowment for the Arts. The free materials, there's an anthology of poetry for them to choose from. And the idea, as you said, Senator Gill, is they have to memorize it. And the repetition does do something, but they have to get inside these classic and contemporary pieces of work and find their own voice. And it's really, it is, I said transformational, I'll say it again. It's what happens on stage is remarkable.
Absolutely. And I'd like to, if we have time, I'd like to add another program that I'm very proud of the work that the council has done on that. And that's the New Jersey Arts and Cultural Administrators of Color. That initiative was established in 2019, and I will add that Joyce Gore, another member of the council, and myself, we are members of that and very proud members of that. It was a network of professional administrators of color, and it was created to advance efforts related to equity, diversity, and inclusion within the state of New Jersey arts community. The council, we were founders of it. We also are funders of it as well, along with others. We work with the Theater Alliance. Allison had mentioned them as well, the Newark Symphony Hall, and Art Pride New Jersey. And the purpose is to help build a community that affords members the opportunity to develop personal and professional connections and share resources. It's a wonderful program. And as I said, I'm extremely proud that we were the ones to launch that with a few other co-partners.
Well, I am just very happy to be able to have this conversation today. And we will make sure that we have the websites up so people can come to the website and know what wonderful work the council does, but also how to apply,
Yes.
how to get involved in it,
Yeah.
how to
Yes.
access the information so you can become involved. There's sometimes when we have wonderful, wonderful programs, but people don't necessarily know about them.
Exactly.
And so go to the website, become familiar with the programs there, participate in not only the work of the council, but, had the work of art wherever it is. It will be something that we all will be able to experience and grow from. So I'd like to thank you both for this great discussion, Allison and Sharon, for joining us today. This is the People's Perspective, and I'm Senator Gill. Thanks for watching.